Hey y'all, I'm Kat.
And I'm Ian.
And welcome back to our channel.
Today's topic, what do we keep in our bags? And what do we need with us on the trail?
Alright, I have a regular Camelback biker backpack style bag. What do you have?
I'm doing the good old fanny thing. I went with this Evoc hip bag. I had almost the exact same, the male version of that Camelback. Served me super well, put it through the ringer. I cannot say anything bad about that bag. Super well organized on the inside. Can hold plenty of fluids and what you need. Most day, half day trips. Why I end up swapping away from this is I'm a pretty hot natured person, and so I think I get pretty sweaty pretty easy, and wanted to get a little bit less back coverage. I'm gonna go with something that's a little more comfortable. Here in the South, we get pretty humid summers, and so I want to kind of lighten the load. Didn't need necessarily all the things that came with that backpack, so I downsized just a little bit. And went with the hip bag thing. How about you?
This is pretty much my one and only backpack I've ever had.
For biking.
For biking, yeah, for biking. And it works fine, and so I just keep it, but I'm used to a backpack style situation. Maybe one day I'll upgrade to that guy, but I'm happy with this for now. I do like how the water straw, what'd you call that?
The water straw.
Water straw?
Babe, this is 2020. You
What
can't
do
use
you
a
call
straw
it?
anymore.
Yeah, save the turtles.
I would call that a hose, a Camelback.
Camelback hose.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Isn't that weird? I've never called it anything before. Anyways, the Camelback hose, it has a magnet that allows it to clip on the front, and so it keeps it nice and close, so I really like that. I also really like that inside the Camelback itself, the pouch that holds all the water, is shorter and a little bit fatter than most Camelbacks you see, in order to keep a good balance and make sure all the water is weighted on the lower part of my back instead of kind of higher up. So that's one thing that I really love about this backpack.
Things I like about my bag, it also has a magnetic attachment. So as it goes around the front of your hip, that can stay pretty snug. And so far that's worked out pretty well. It has two side hip pouches for easy access. It does have a larger interior pocket for my water bladder and a few other things, and then exterior pockets to keep all the little things kind of organized. All right, let's start with these bags and what we keep in them. I'll start on my hip side. I do like this guy has two separate hip pouches, and the first thing I got is some calories. So keep a Cliff Bar in there, or whatever, a gel, or quit crunching for a minute. Yeah, I gotta have calories on a ride. I have a pretty high metabolism, and so after a couple hours, it's pretty necessary to have something else in there.
Me too! I have a Stroop waffle.
Merry Christmas!
These are really nice. They're not as hearty and heavy as Cliff Bars, so they're really light. They have amino acids, sodium, no caffeine. Some do have caffeine if you want them, and they're super delish. Ta-da!
Also on the exterior of my bag, I've got the ability to carry extra water outside of those bladders, which is really nice. But of course, in the mountains of WNC, it's not bad to have a local beer verage in one of those pockets.
I've never heard that before, but I like it. Beer verage.
Rage.
Beer verage.
Yeah.
Beverage, beer, and rage.
All in
together.
one. Yeah.
Cool.
Real time parties.
Beer verage. I have. Why is this so fun? Now I've got my bike gloves. I use my fingerless gloves mostly. I just like that I can actually feel the grips, so I really love my fingerless gloves. But I also have full finger gloves and winter gloves, but these are kind of my go-to when it's nice and warm out. These are Giro, and they've been worn like crazy.
All right, let's open the big pocket in here. First thing I got are some shades. I haven't gone with any cool, crazy biker shades just yet, but I do want to have something to protect my eyes in a lot of the ways, and so at least having a generic pair of shades has helped with A, being in the sun, and B, keeping a little bit of muck out of those eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Safety glasses on the cheap is a good option too.
Yes, yeah. I should have those too, but I don't. So, what do I have? A tube. And you should always have a tube, no matter what, in case you get a flat. Whether you run tubeless or whether you actually have a tube in your tires already.
Yeah, that's key. Digging into my bag, next thing. I know not a ton of people do this, but I'm pretty adamant about keeping some sort of first aid kit with me. Whether that's I get stuck in the woods, I know crazy things can happen. I don't feel like I venture that far from my car, but the wilderness is the wilderness, and the more prepared, the better I feel. I will say I haven't had to use this much at all. I haven't had to update it and replace it because things go bad, but first aid kit is a big deal. It's in a waterproof container. That helps keep anything from getting messed up in there. It's got all sorts of your basic needs, from moleskins in case you start getting a blister to painkillers, so you name it. One other thing, my little special side tip thing that I stuffed in this bag because it's pretty easy. I do keep a spare cable in there. I've never needed to replace a cable on the trail. I've been able to kind of troubleshoot and keep up with my bikes enough to not have to need one of those, but I can imagine a pretty rough scenario getting trapped out deep in the woods with a busted derailleur cable and not wanting to pedal in whatever gear I have to deal with all the way back home. So I do keep that as a ready to go kind of thing. Slides in there, takes up barely any weight, any space. This guy makes me feel a whole lot safer about being in the woods.
That's a good one.
Thanks.
I need one of those. My next thing is a pump. You just need this if your tire blows out and you need to use that tube. So having this little hand pump is really helpful because you can't carry one of those massive pumps. And we have definitely run into a lot of people who've had flat tires and have had issues on the trail and do not have one of these. And so we've saved a lot of people out on the trail from having to walk like miles out back to their car. So this is nice to have.
I too keep a pump, so I'll save you showing it twice.
Yeah.
Next thing that I keep in my bag is what is called a Houdini. And that's Patagonia. There's a couple different companies that make this. But what this is a windbreaker. And so it's super condensed, super light. I can keep this in my bag without having to worry about it. But where we live, temperature changes can happen pretty dramatically, whether that's a cloud burst and it gets rainy. I definitely am glad to have this keep me a little bit drier. Or really the biggest thing is in our kind of shoulder seasons, it can be really cold to descend and have air blowing on you after you've been cranking, keeping that internal radiator going. On the uphill, when you point downhill, you've got wind blasting in your face. And so especially in the wintertime, this is all like a guarantee to keep in my bag. Throw on, trap in that heat, keep you from cooling down too quick when you're wet and sweaty. So I keep this guy all the time.
That's a good one. I didn't know yours was in that little cute bag. Looks like a pear.
That's the pocket. It folds into the pocket.
I love it. It's so
like
cute.
Built that way. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I like it.
Bag, you just boop, it's even got a little hanger.
It's so cute.
Yeah, see it?
It kind of reminds me of bananagrams.
Yeah, I keep bananagrams.
Pear, but it looks like a pear. That's so cool.
All the deck is up in there.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, next thing. Just kidding. But for real though, I've got a little baggie of toilet paper. So you never know when you gotta go. Just take a little TP and you'll be set.
And then this guy folds out. I really do love how it's organized. I got that spare pump, but I'm doing the tubeless thing and I keep my tube strapped to my bike. But one big thing that I feel like I need to keep on me is this little guy, and all it is a puncture repair kit. So on the tubeless end of the world, this little guy screws apart. So if I were to let's say, get a pinch in my tire and it actually like pierced the casing, I may not want to have to pull apart my entire tire. I might have sealant in there and not want to replace the tube. So one of the quicker options is this guy, and it works a whole lot like a plug for a regular tire, but I've got a whole bunch of these, what are, I don't know, sometimes comically called bacon strips, and all they do is slide on here. I can stab this into a tire and it'll plug a hole, and as long as I've got sealant in my tire, it shouldn't get any of the other escaping air pockets. Of course, you still need a pump to put air back in your tire, but I do keep this at the ready with quite a few little puncture repairs in there.
My turn?
Yes.
Okay, last thing that I carry in my big pouch, unless I have a jacket or something, is this cool little roll-up, fruit roll-up. That's what I'm gonna call it from now on. It's a little bit like Ian's, but not as cool and inserted in the actual bag. I really like that one. But this one's nice. It's got multiple pockets that you can slide things in for pretty much tools. And so I similarly have something like Ian that is a patch kit, but it's for a tire with tubes in it. So I've got that little guy. Do I keep going?
No.
And also in this pocket, I have a, forgot what it's called. I want to say tire iron. That's so wrong.
So close.
Tire lever. Tire lever? I'm a tire lever. This is for taking your tire off of the wheel and helping you put it back on when you need to repair it, all the things. Do I do the last thing?
Next up, we both have multi-tools.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, so tools, crazy important, right? Being able to do some basic trailside maintenance, or you never know when even a bolt or tool or something on your bike can rattle loose. I've had that happen more often than I'd like. So having a variety of options, some hex keys. Mine has a chain breaker if that were to become an issue. Having a few little Phillips heads, flat heads, just some accessible tools to keep adjustments and fixes on the fly.
What is in here?
Also, trash.
Trash.
Trash pocket.
Pack it in, pack it out.
Yeah, last thing for me other than my fun pocket is a multi-tool that goes beyond just what I've got there that are very bike specific tools, but I feel like it's pretty important to have some sort of knife on you. And then to go along with my cable, it's pretty hard to replace a cable if you can't get some tension on it, so kind of I do have a spare multi-tool that not only is a knife, but kind of has a little spare pair of pliers. I know we're getting to the excessive side of potential repair, but I prefer to have it than not. And so while not every single one of these things have been used all the time, I'm gonna err on the side of safety for my own mental deep breath and or helping other people out on the trail that may need it.
Better safe than sorry. Also, it feels really awesome when you are able to help somebody else if they are in need and nobody else has it but you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is nice.
A trail savior.
Yeah, you also don't want to have to be like hoping that somebody comes to save you. A place to be.
Yeah, that feels kind of crappy when you're like, oh, I should have just brought this.
Yeah,
So
totally.
that's everything in our bags. I was so ready to do that, and you knew.
I knew.
You knew.
Bye.
Bye. We hope this is really helpful for y'all for packing your own biking backpack. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments below. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, smash that subscribe button.
And we'll be in touch soon. That's stupid.
And we'll be in touch. What is this, your old friend? Bye, Grandma.
But I don't know how to say goodbye. And have a good day.
In the middle of that, I sat on my freaking
Oh,
hose.
spilling down in my face.
I sat on my hose
Did it spill out?
and it made my leg all wet. And I was like, what is so cold on my leg?
Oh no.
Wet ass butt.
Wet ass butt. Oh dang, babe, you really emptied that out.